The truth behind the Bible and the altered human design, the forgotten record. Before the Bible, before the prophets, there were tablets, thousands of lines pressed into clay, written in cuneiform. They tell of Anu, of Enki, of Enlil, and of the Anunnaki, the offspring of Anu, those who decreed the destinies of Earth. The Sumerians called them gods. Later generations would call them angels, watchers, or even the sons of God. Archaeology places these records between 3000 and 2000 BCE in Mesopotamia, long before the Hebrew texts were gathered. The stories migrate: creation of humankind from clay, a divine assembly that debates the flood, a hero who survives in a vessel built by command of the gods. When Genesis was written, fragments of those older myths were already echoing through the Near East. The Mesopotamian epic of Atrahasis tells how gods grew weary of laboring and fashioned humans to bear the work. The clay was mixed with the flesh and blood of a god, a symbolic act of divine infusion. Genesis 2 describes the Adam formed from dust, animated by the breath of God. Different language, same pattern, earth joined with something from above. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, a flood erases a corrupt generation. The hero receives secret instruction to build a vessel. The Bible repeats the sequence with Noah. Names change, functions remain. The Anunnaki Council decides. Yahweh alone decrees. Two versions of one archetype, the reset of humankind. Modern readers ask if these myths conceal a memory of intervention. Zecharia Sitchin and later writers propose that the Anunnaki were physical visitors, engineers who altered early humans through selective breeding or genetic craft. Scholars reject the literal reading. No surviving tablet speaks of spacecraft or DNA, but the metaphor of altered design persists. It is a story about limitation. Humans once closer to the divine pattern, then rewritten for servitude, awakened again when knowledge returns. Within the Hebrew texts, the echo surfaces in Genesis 6. The sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful. They took wives of all whom they chose. And the offspring were called Nephilim, the fallen ones, heroes of renown, beings of mixed nature. Later, the Book of Enoch names these visitors the Watchers, teachers of forbidden arts, the same function once held by the Anunnaki, who gave humanity the crafts. Whether myth or memory, both lines describe a threshold crossed, divine and human intermixed, knowledge expanding faster than conscience. As kingdoms rose and monotheism took hold, the multiplicity of divine beings contracted into a single voice. The Council of the Anunnaki became the court of heaven, the cosmic hierarchy compressed into one God, one law, one authorized text. The Hebrew redactors translated the older pantheon into angelic orders: Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, retaining the pattern of messengers but erasing the names that tied them to older gods. By the time of early Christianity, the Watchers of Enoch had become demons, their gift of knowledge recast as transgression. The story no longer warned of amnesia, it warned against curiosity. The field of truth narrowed to a single approved frequency: the field and the flesh. If the human design was ever edited, it happened through narrative as much as through biology. Language shapes the limits of perception. When the stories changed, so did the blueprint of what humanity believed itself to be. Ancient memory of partnership with the divine became a theology of separation. The serpent of wisdom became the symbol of fall. The word Anunnaki vanished, but the pattern of higher beings interacting with humankind remained, coded into scripture, ritual, and mythic instinct. From a scientific view, humans carry fragments of DNA whose function is unknown, the so-called non-coding regions. From a symbolic view, these are the silent verses of our creation story, waiting for the next activation of meaning. Comparative scholars note that nearly every ancient culture preserved some version of this sequence, a celestial order, beings who shape or govern the world. A biological or creative act, fashioning humans from clay, breath, or essence. A moral collapse, mixture of divine and mortal realms. A flood or cataclysm, reset of civilization. A covenant or law, renewal under new terms. The Mesopotamian tablets, the Hebrew Bible, the Enochian fragments all follow this cycle. The details differ, the frequency remains. It is the rhythm of humanity remembering and forgetting its own origin.